Have you ever been accused of something you didn't do? It's a situation that can stir up a whirlwind of emotions, especially when it comes from someone you hold dear. Let me share a bit about my story. My name is unimportant, but the bond I share with my sister Abigail, that's what matters. Abigail, she's my little ray of sunshine, my sweet angel on earth. She has Down syndrome, which presents its own set of challenges, but it's never diminished the love we share. My husband Jimmy and I took on the responsibility of caring for Abigail after we lost our parents in a tragic car accident a decade ago. At that time, I was a working mother, raising 3 young kids, and helping Jimmy with our family business. It was a whirlwind of responsibilities, but we managed. Abigail initially lived with us full-time, and we loved having her around. Jimmy was always there, sharing the load, helping with her care. But as the months passed, we started to realize something. Our sweet Abigail needed more attention, more care, more of everything than we could possibly provide. There just wasn't enough time in the day. It was a heart-wrenching realization, but it was the truth. So, we made the tough decision. We moved Abigail into a private adult home for people with special needs. It wasn't an easy choice, but it was the right one. The cost was steep, over $10,000 a month, but it was worth every penny. They had activities, field trips, and special days that Abigail loved. She made friends, she was happy, and we could see her thriving. We never let a day pass without checking on her. Whether it was a quick visit, a holiday spent together, or a special sleepover with her nieces and nephews, we made sure she was always part of our lives. We knew we made the right decision for Abigail, but not everyone agreed. It was a beautiful day for a family BBQ, but things took a turn. The sun was shining and laughter filled the air as we gathered for our annual Labor Day feast. My other sister Jenny was there too, along with her husband and their new baby. They had been trying for a child for years, and their joy was infectious, despite Jenny's newfound habit of being overly critical and opinionated about parenting. We were all enjoying the food and the company when, out of the blue, Jenny asked about Abigail's whereabouts. Her tone was more accusatory than inquisitive, as if she was laying a trap. Instead of getting into a debate, I simply told her that Abigail chose to stay at home. She seemed to take this as a confirmation of some suspicion she had, and turned to her husband saying, "See, this is why it won't ever happen." Naturally, this sparked curiosity around the table. My mother-in-law asked Jenny what she was referring to. With a snide look on her face, Jenny announced to everyone, "We did our wills last week and knew these 2 wouldn't be suitable as guardians of our baby if something happened to us. They tossed her sister into a home rather than be real family to her. I won't let that happen to my child." Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. All the work we'd put into caring for Abigail, the love we poured into her life, and the hard decisions we'd made for her betterment were reduced to tossing her into a home. But I didn't let it show. Instead, I laughed. I laughed because it was absurd, and also because I didn't want to give Jenny the satisfaction of seeing me hurt. "Well, that's great news," I said, "since I have zero desire to raise your kid." The words were out before I could stop them. They hung in the air, heavy with implication, and the table fell silent. Jenny's face turned a shade of red I'd never seen before. She gathered her things, her husband and their baby, and stormed out, hurling nasty swear words at me as she left. And I'll admit, I may have returned the favor. It was a beautiful day for a family BBQ, but things took a turn. I repeated those words to myself as I watched Jenny's car disappear down the driveway. The rest of the family was quiet, shocked by the sudden turn of events. The BBQ continued, but the mood had changed. The laughter was gone, replaced by a heavy silence that echoed Jenny's words. I didn't let it show, but her words stung. The accusation, the disregard for all the efforts we'd made for Abigail, it hurt. But more than that, it was the fact that my own sister could think so poorly of me. The accusation wasn't just about Abigail. It was a judgment on my character, on my capacity to love and care, and that hurt the most. You'd think a family spat at a BBQ would blow over quickly, right? But oh, how mistaken you'd be. In this case, the fallout was as fiery as the BBQ grills on a sizzling summer day. Jenny, my sister, was adamant that I owed her an apology, a notion that I found rather laughable. She was relentless though, her texts to Jimmy, my husband, as persistent as they were venomous. They demanded in no uncertain terms that I should apologize for my supposed transgressions. But here's the thing. I was caught in a vortex of emotions, a whirlwind of hurt, anger, and disbelief. Yet one thing was crystal clear amidst this turmoil. I was not going to apologize. Why should I? All I'd done was protect my sister Abigail and ensure her happiness. I wasn't about to bow down to Jenny's baseless accusations and her skewed perception of my actions. Yet it wasn't just Jenny that I found myself at odds with. My mother-in-law, bless her heart, was caught in the crossfire. She knew Jenny had overstepped her boundaries. She understood the pain and hurt that Jenny's words had inflicted on me. Yet she asked me to be the bigger person, to apologize and keep the peace. But I was torn. On one hand, I wanted to maintain harmony in the family. On the other hand, apologizing would feel like admitting that Jenny was right, that I had somehow failed Abigail, and that was something I would not do. So I stood my ground. I refused to let myself be swayed by the storm of accusations and demands. I wouldn't let Jenny's false allegations change my perspective of what I knew to be true, that I had always done what was best for Abigail, that I loved her dearly, and that I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. But I stood my ground. I wouldn't let false accusations change my perspective. So here we are a month later and I'm left wondering. Yes, wondering if I am the one in the wrong here. You see, when you're in the thick of a situation, it's easy to let emotions cloud your judgment. The hurtful words, the accusatory tone, the sheer audacity of it all, it's enough to make anyone lose their cool. And in the heat of the moment, I laughed. I laughed because the idea of raising Jenny's child seemed so absurd. I laughed because it was either that or let her words sting me. I must confess, though, there's a part of me that wonders if I should have handled it differently. Could I have been more diplomatic, more tactful? Perhaps. But when someone questions your love and commitment to your family, when someone accuses you of tossing your sister into a home, diplomacy tends to take a back seat. And now I'm left with a dilemma. On one hand, there's the need for peace in the family. It's no secret that families can be complicated, messy even. We often find ourselves making compromises, swallowing our pride just to keep the peace. But on the other hand, there's the principle of the matter. The principle that I shouldn't have to apologize for something I didn't do. I mean, let's be clear here, what did I do wrong? I made the best decision for my sister Abigail. A decision that was hard to make, but one that ensured she had the best care, the most love, and the happiest life. And then I stood up for myself when I was wrongfully accused of being an unfit guardian. So why should I apologize? Why should I be the one to say sorry? Is it because Jenny is my sister? Is it because she's a new mom and we should cut her some slack? Or is it because we as a society have this ingrained belief that keeping the peace is more important than standing up for what's right? Well, I don't know about you, but I refuse to apologize. I refuse to let Jenny's words define me. I refuse to let her believe that she was right in her accusations. And most importantly, I refuse to let this incident mar the beautiful relationship I share with my sweet angel Abigail. But still, the question persists. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for standing up for myself? Am I wrong for refusing to apologize? Or am I wrong for laughing at the absurdity of it all? It's a question that keeps me up at night, a question that gnaws at my conscience. So I ask you, dear viewers, am I wrong?